are you? And where are you going? What do you want?
Hello and welcome to People Making Money. I'm your host, Kevin Bemmel, and we're here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time to talk about matters relating to your running a business, professions, wealth building, all of the whole financial side of life. And despite writing myself a note to close my email, sitting right there, I always forget to do it. So you hear that dinging in the background. So today I'm going to be talking about a new way of building relationships. And it's actually, I realized I need to bring up one other thing here. Is this it? No. Yeah. I see. I should have had this. Where is it? Engagement. No. One second. Best laid plans of mice and men and all that. Why am I not? Let's see. Right before the show started, my web browser exploded, and I lost all of my all of the tabs that I save on my browser, and now I'm having trouble finding all kinds of things. Okay, what are we going to do here? I'm trying to do the time step here while I find what I need to find, and I'm not having any success at all on this platform. Media social. Aren't you just having a lovely time watching this? Images. Okay, is this it? Here we go. Okay. There we go. Nope, that's not it. Shoot. Where is it? Stream. Oh, brother. Okay, we'll try one other place, and if I can't find it there, we're going to have to move on. See, always a scintillating time here on the Way to Wow shows, right? Okay. Why am I not finding the... Here it is. Right? Yes. Okay. There you go. Okay. And bang. Okay. Got it. So, okay. Now we're not vermischt, as we say in Yiddish. Sorry about that. So, I've talked on a number of shows about relationship building. I've shown you how to use LinkedIn to build professional relationships, for example, or how to connect with people so you can start building a relationship. And a question was asked of me a while back, but how do you grow the relationships? How do you build the relationships? And I've been thinking a lot about that question. In my case, it seems to happen pretty organically. And it was when a friend of mine basically said to me, you do this better than I do. Can you, give me some input on how I can be more effective building relationships? That I started thinking about, well, what is it that I do? and how can I present it in a way that it will be that other people will understand it, right? It's all good and well for us to know how to do something intuitively or to just do it without not really understanding our our process or whatever it is. It's another thing to explain it. And so I spent quite a bit of time the end of last year putting it into a system. I actually refined. I've been refining my own system, or my own tracking system. But the tracking system is what enables me to know that I'm building the relationships. So I'm going to start by sharing. Let's see. No. Oh, it's not going to let me do this, is it? Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Yes. So, see. See if it's going to let me do this on the fly. So, what I need to do is bring this up. Let's see if it's going to do that. Okay. Oh, cool. This is even better than I thought because it's right there. So, I've talked on a number of occasions about the 3 pillars of attainment, and this is really the basis for not just the shows, but really how I pursue my life, if you will. Okay, and some of you may have seen this before, so I'm just gonna real briefly review it. So, right, so 3 pillars of attainment. There's 3 pillars: self, relationships, and pursuits. Okay, and it comes down to this is us as an individual, our self identity, if you will. Relationships are all the other people, potentially all the other people in the world. Okay, and then pursuits are what we do. That's how it breaks down. Okay, now when we think about relationships, I've broken them down into 3 realms: family, friends, and God. Okay, and I know, for some people they don't believe in God or whatever. Okay, fine. So don't have to worry about that one. Okay, but then relationships break down to family and friends, and friends includes. I use that word very generally. It could be colleagues, it could be friends, it could be acquaintances, it could be very close friends. Okay, so this is our family, and this is the realm of other people with whom we might have a relationship. Okay, and we tend to think of and so my tendency has been to think of relationships only in this way, but the reality is that relationships connect to the other 2 realms. Okay, so in some cases we have a friend or a colleague. I use colleague in the sense of business colleague or professional colleague, and we know them essentially in relationship to just that. Okay, and other times we know them in relationship to some of the fun things we do. We have a relationship with them in terms of our financial lives. Sometimes we have a relationship to them with respect to our health or our mindset. Okay, and by the way, sometimes a friendship or a relationship encompasses one realm, one or more realms in all 3 pillars. Okay, so what I realized was when we think about building a relationship, we want to go from it being unidimensional to multidimensional. In other words, having an impact, the person having an impact in more than one realm of our life, and us having an impact in more than one realm of that person's life. Okay, so and by the way, the same is true for family members. Okay, so We'll have deeper relationships with our family members to the extent that we have impact on each other and our family members have impact on us in beyond just being family members. Okay, maybe because they're part of our of sustaining our mindset. Maybe they're someone that we enjoy some sort of hobby together with. Okay, really depends. Maybe we have some sort of academic interest that we share with them. Okay, and in so doing, we flesh out, we make the relationship multi-dimensional. And in fact, that is the key to building a relationship. Okay, so you think about someone that you know at work. Maybe you see them every day. You say hello. You may have some interaction with them, and not particularly meaningful. Okay, so that relationship is staying right here. Okay. However, that relationship moves to the point where that person has a positive impact on your finances. Okay, so maybe that person has become a coach for you to advance your career, or a mentor for you within the company that you work. And so they're taking an active role in helping you advance professionally or business wise. Okay, so now that relationship has two dimensions. Okay, let's take another situation. Let's take a situation where, let's say you go to a particular doctor for your health. Okay, well, that's not really a relationship. Okay, but maybe you become friends with your doctor, and I don't know, maybe you play golf together once a month or once a week or something like that. The reason that comes to mind is I was watching a movie where that was the case. Okay, so now you've got a multi-dimensional, or I should be calling it a multi-pillar relationship. Okay, and that's building that relationship. It's making it more important. It's making it closer. Okay. All right. So the goal, I think, is to have a small group of relationships that that are mutually bound in all three pillars. And I'll explain to you a bit more what I mean by that when I show you the tracking system that I've created. Okay. Now, the reason why I say a small group is because the more realms in which a relationship operates, the more time it takes to keep that relationship vital. Okay. And so it might sound strange, but we're not looking to have 100 relationships that are active in all three pillars. We couldn't sustain that. There's not enough time in the day to do that. What we want are a few. Okay, now Judy Robinette recommends 5. Now, she doesn't use the same system. I'm just saying in her top line relationship, the closest relationships, the ones where, at least originally she was saying you talk to these people every day. I'm not sure she meant that literally, frankly. You have 5 people in that category. Okay, now maybe you can only sustain 3. Maybe you can sustain 10. I think that will be different for each of us as an individual. And that's something that we need to figure out over time. Okay. But it's not going to be 100. It's not going to be 50. Okay. It may be 10. It may be 7. It may be 3. It may be 2. It may only be 1. Okay. That's going to vary depending on who you are, how much energy you have, how wide a circle you have, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So the goal then is to make the balance of our relationships dual pillar relationships, meaning we're connected in more ways than just being friends or a family member. Okay. Either we connect some other way because of something in the self pillar or something in the pursuits pillar. Now, those are mutual connections. Okay. So they have to influence us in one of the other pillars, and we have to influence them in one of the other pillars. If it's a relationship, an unbalanced relationship, and that's fine. We do have some unbalanced relationships. Okay. So, for example, we may have a relationship where um, we are mentoring someone. Okay. So we're helping them in two pillars, but they're only helping us in one pillar. That's fine, but recognize that that relationship is only as strong as the weaker of the two parties in terms of their influence. Okay. And again, I'll when I show you the tracking system, I think it'll make it clear. And that's why the tracking system is so important, is because it, in essence, requires us to really understand what is the quality of this relationship. Okay. And so if we have a unipillar relationship initially, okay, and by the way, the unipillar may be that this is a customer. Okay. Customers are great. We need them to make our businesses work. Okay. But if we can move the customer to also being a friend, right, that's going to be a much more devoted customer, right, and a much more fulfilling relationship, because it's both financial, but it's also um, emotional, we'll call it. Okay. All right. So the first thing that's important is to understand um, the various realms in the three pillars of attainment, and um, how they might um, how they might play into the relationships that we have. Okay. So you might say, in the self pillar, you might say, well, identity, isn't that my self identity? How could anybody be involved in that? Well, I mean, it depends. The person may, if your spouse may relate to you in terms of identity. Okay. So it really just depends. Okay. It depends how open a person you are. It depends how close you let people get to you. And it also depends on how close other people in your life will let people get to them. Okay. So again, the idea is how mutual are the relationships. Okay. So now let's see if I can get the other one up here. See if it's going to let me do this. So concentration. Oops, wrong file. Here we go. All right. It's not going to let me bring that up. Okay, so how am I going to do this? Take that out, and it's not going to let me do this. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this into a PDF. Paper size. Legal. And here we go. Orientation, landscape. Why is it? That's weird. I'm not sure why it's doing this. Okay, let me just look at this real quickly. Oh, sorry for the technical difficulties. You know, technology is a great thing when it works, but when it doesn't, it is disastrous. Oh, I don't know. Okay, that's weird. All right, let me just look at this real quickly here. And oh, I see what it is. Okay, okay, I got it. All right, I know what the problem is now. Okay, so okay, set print area. Here we go. No, let's try it one more time. Okay, here we go. All right. And let's go to portrait and print. Hopefully this image is going to be big enough for you to see once I have it set up here. Okay. Now we'll go back here and image and that and here. Oh, why is it not letting me do this? Okay, well, we'll do it a different way. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's too small. Let's see how about if I enlarge it? No, it's going to be too small. Oh, man. Gosh, how am I going to do this? Oh, boy. This shows you how. Okay, I have an idea. All right. We'll try one more way of doing this. And if it doesn't, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to hide my head in shame for having done such a terrible job on the show today. Okay, let's. Okay, there we go. And let's see if it's going to let me do this. No, cancel, try it again. Image. Huh. This is really giving me a problem here. And then now it's letting me do it. It just wants me to look foolish, I guess. I'm not sure why. Okay, here we go. And all right, so hopefully, you can see this, and what you've got are essentially three zones that relate to relationships where all three pillars are involved, relationships where two of the pillars are involved, and relationships where only one of the pillars are involved. Okay. And this is what I was talking about earlier. So here, where there's all three involved, and for me, none of these happen to be my family members. Um, that just happens to be how it is. So what I've got in terms of these people is they contribute to my life as friends, They contribute to my mindset because they're such close friends, and also pursuits. And in all the cases, we do business together. Okay. And I add to their life in all of the same three pillars. Okay. Or all the same three, uh, yeah, realms/pillars. Okay. So, um, what's hard to see here is there's a rating system that consists of how many pillars um, do um, do I offer a value to them? How many pillars do they offer a value to me? And then there's another column here for the length of the relationship, and I have a coding system for the length of the relationship, 1 through 4. So a relationship up to 10 years gets a 1, 11 to 20 a 2, 21 to 30 a 3, and a 31 and more is a 4. Now, some of you are not as old as me, so you could conceivably do a different coding system, but the idea is the longer a relationship has existed, the more valuable, the better the quality that relationship is. Okay. Now, that won't always be the case, but I think in general it is. Okay. So, when those three factors are added together, um, the value I give to them, the value the person gives to me, and the um, durability factor, okay, that gives an overall factor, overall sort of yeah, factor for the quality of the relationship. So in theory, a relationship can be anywhere from a 3 to a 10. Okay. So a 10 would be a relationship with someone where we both impact each other in all three pillars, and we've known each other for 31 or more years. Okay. Now, probably not going to have a whole lot of those. Okay. Next would be a 9, where you've known them for a very long time, and again, you connect in at least in all three pillars. Okay. Now, once you drop below connecting in all three pillars, you'll have a situation where perhaps you connect in 2 pillars, okay, and they connect with you in 2 pillars. So a relationship like that is going to be a 4 plus the durability factor. And the durability factor could be anywhere, again, between a 1 and a 4. So those relationships are going to be somewhere between a 5 and an 8. Okay. And this is the zone to which you want to build the relationships that I was just mentioning before. Now, by the way, my family members are in this second zone. So in general, we connect on 2 pillars on both sides. I'm not doing any business with my family members. So, there aren't any that are up in the all three pillars realm, or all three pillars section. Okay. So I have one section for my family, and then one section for non-family members where we connect on 2 pillars. Okay. And then these are all the relationships, okay, where I'm connected on 1 pillar. Okay. And they're connected to me on 1 pillar. Okay. Or maybe I'm giving value to their life in 2 pillars, but they're only giving value to my life in 1 pillar. Okay. And so these relationships are going to be basically 3s. They're going to be anywhere from a 3 to, if there's a high durability factor, they could be as high as a 6. Okay. So you say, well, wait a minute. Some of the relationships here in section in the 2 pillar section might only be a 5. Yeah, they might be if you haven't known them for very long. Okay, like I have one relationship like that, that's a 5. Okay, but for the most part, these are going to be 6 and above, because we'll have known these people for a while to build the friendships. Okay, so these are for the most part, you may get a 6 here, but these are for the most part going to be 3s and 4s, and the goal is to build those relationships to go from 1 pillar relationships to 2 pillar relationships. Okay, and the way we do that is, I'm gonna switch this out now, replace it. Oops. Let me just hide it. Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to go back to the 3 pillars image. Okay, so again, the way we build them is by looking for opportunities to develop the relationship in more than 1 pillar. Okay, specifically in a realm in another pillar. Okay, so if we've got someone who's a client, okay, so they're in the finances realm of the pursuits pillar, we want to try and make them a friend. So now it's a 2 pillar relationship. Okay, if someone is, maybe we do some kind of sports. Okay, maybe we're on the same sports team. We meet someone, we like them, we feel like we have something in common with them. We want to build that relationship. We want to build from just being colleagues on a team to being friends. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully it does. You're not able to tell me, but hopefully it does. Okay, now you may have a friend. Okay, and for whatever reason, you're not going to get involved in a pursuit together, but that friend may become an important factor in sustaining your mindset or sustaining your health. So maybe you have a friend who turns out they're a personal trainer, and so you start going to them to help you get proper exercise. Okay, so each of these, the way to think about building the relationship is to add a realm from another pillar to what connects you to the other person, what allows you to give value to the other person, what allows the other person to create value in your life. And that's how I urge you to think about it. We're creating value in other people's lives, and we're looking for people who are going to create more value in our lives. That's building a relationship. Okay, now when I say value, that may sound like money. I don't mean value in dollar terms necessarily, although that may be that's certainly something of value if they help us grow our business. Okay, if they're a client or a customer. Okay, or maybe they're a business coach who's helping us market our business better, something like that. Okay, that certainly is helping us create value in our lives. Okay, and maybe we're doing that for someone else. Maybe we're doing that for a friend. Okay, same thing. We're delivering value to them. Okay, but that's not the only way. Okay, we can share activities, hobbies. We can share learning opportunities. Okay, we can maybe you need someone to, maybe you're struggling with your diet. You need to eat better. So maybe you'll join with a friend, and the two of you will keep each other accountable for eating better. So now you're dealing with the health realm in the self pillar on both sides. So your friends in the relationships pillar, and your sort of accountability partners in health in the self pillar. Okay, maybe you're dealing with addiction. Okay, maybe you're dealing with alcoholism or drug addiction, right? And you're in a 12-step program, and you've got someone who's going to help you be accountable within that program. Okay. That perhaps is more of a mindset issue. Okay. So maybe you've got that accountability person and that grows into being a friend. Okay. Not a romantic relationship, because that's not the way 12-step programs work. Okay. But you have this person who, when you're feeling the urge to drink, when you and you need some help not doing so, that's your accountability person. Okay. That person becomes a friend as well. Okay. All of those are different ways of building relationships. Now, we typically think of building relationships in the professional realm, in the business realm. Okay. So we probably are not going to build relationships in terms of health accountability or mindset accountability, although we might, okay, depending on the type of business relationship it is. Okay. But more likely, it's going to be within the relationships and pursuits pillars. Okay. And it's going to be a relationship that either started out as a friendship that then adds to it something in, typically something regarding finances in the pursuits pillar that becomes a valuable business relationship. Or it's a business situation, it's a client. Okay. There's not a relationship there in the sense of a relationship. Okay. Or a colleague, that becomes an actual friend. Okay. And now it's a 2-pillar relationship. Okay. All right. Hopefully that's been clear. I know it was very jumbled because of the technical difficulties and such that I had. And to be honest, this is the first time. Well, actually, this is the second time I've explained it, and um, and the first time I did it, I realized I left out the whole component of the 3 pillars of attainment. And so, but in this case, the person I explained it to was familiar with it. Okay. So, if you have questions about it, feel free to post those questions to social media. All the social media links will be in the show notes after this episode posts. Okay. If it's completely confused you, please let me know. Okay. That's valuable input. So if you watch this show and you're like, I don't know what Kevin is talking about, please tell me. All right. Because I, as you know, if you watch the show on any kind of regular basis, I put relationship building at the center of my life. I think it's crucial to live a good life, a rewarding life, but it's also crucial to professional success, right? Which is and business success, which is really the theme of this show, people making money. Okay, so criticisms are as welcome as, comments. And in some way, criticisms are more important than, oh, this was really great. I mean, I appreciate it if you think so, but I'm really looking for ways on how I can explain this better. What don't you understand? What doesn't make sense to you? Um, Feel free to put those questions or comments in the like I said, in the various social media chats. Now, if there's something specific to you that's private, you can send me an email. My email address will be in the show notes as well, and I will be happy to address that question or that comment as well. And as I refine this, I'm sure I'll do other shows on it, and I'll learn better how to convey this information to you. So stay tuned. You may see new way of building relationships part 2 or redux or something like that. And if building relationships is at all important, is important to you, then I encourage you to follow how I'm working on these, because I think it'll become ever clearer for you. It's taken me a lot of time to figure out how to do this because relationships can be so amorphous. And are they really the quality that we think we are? How do we bring some level of objectivity to them? And I think, as I point over my shoulder, the 3 pillars of attainment will help give us that measure of objectivity that will help us really know if we're building ever better relationships. Okay, so a little bit shorter show today than usual, but I particularly appreciate your hanging in there with me as I dealt with the technical challenges, and again, would really appreciate getting your feedback. So tomorrow is my every other week show, Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, Jiggers' Place. We're going to have the deliberation cocktail in honor of my talking about jury duty. I've been promoting it the same way all week. It's the thing that everybody in America wants to avoid, and I think that's a shame. So I'm going to talk about my experience on jury duty, which I found quite fascinating. And perhaps that will give you a new perspective on this age-old thing to avoid. And then next week on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time is my show, Trusts and Estates Weekly. And let's see. Actually, this coming Monday is a holiday. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And so, as is my practice, I'll be doing a special show in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So please tune in for that. On Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time will be the next edition of Business Lessons from the Military. And then 1 week from today, we'll be back for the next episode of People Making Money. So thank you so much for joining me today, especially for hanging in there. I had a couple of live viewers. I think they were kind of like, is he ever going to get his act together? Hopefully I did well enough that you got value today. So thank you for joining me. Wishing you a wonderful rest of the day, and signing off as I always do. Marie, darling, you are my belle. Courage.